What's up guys, this is LBT from Combat Culture, and today we're going to take a break from some of the bigger name brands and take a look at some of the smaller companies. We scouted through the internet to find some of the most promising gloves from small or up and coming brands that you might not have heard of yet, because we know sometimes the biggest names aren't always going to be the best option. So whether you're looking for something that's affordable, something that's unique, or you're just looking to support a small business, we've got you covered. Alright, so the first brand we're going to cover today are the RSLNT Fightwear gloves. The brand was founded in New York City in 2020, and they specialize primarily in Muay Thai gear and accessories. So the specific pair of gloves that I have are the RSLNT Muay Thai gloves. A couple of things about the gloves I want to highlight is that the foam is pretty stiff, as you can tell right there. So it'll probably take a couple of sessions for these to really break in. So the fit of the glove is pretty snug, but it's not too tight, so I'm not too concerned about a break-in period with the fit, but there is a bit of a break-in period for this stiff foam right here. And the only reason why I highlight that is as you use this glove, the foam will break down over time, so the impact will feel differently from when you first got the glove, so just keep that in mind. The gloves do come at a pretty good price point at about $75 or so. The design itself is simple and clean. These are pretty reliable gloves, especially for what you're paying. And aside from the boxing gloves, they have a really solid line of Muay Thai shorts as well, so if you're looking for some new swag, definitely check them out. They've got some really cool designs on there, and I think they have new drops every so often. And also they're very involved with the Muay Thai community. By buying these gloves or any gear from RSLNT, not only are you supporting a small business, but you're also supporting the Muay Thai community as well. Moving on, we're going to talk about another brand whose profile kind of mirrors that of RSLNT, and that is Infightstyle. They've been around since 2013. They specialize primarily in Muay Thai and MMA apparel and gear, and also associated with some high-profile fighters such as Janet Todd and Jackie Buntan. Just like RSLNT Fight Gear, Infightstyle is involved with the Muay Thai community as well. I've definitely been seeing their brand more and more in different events or Muay Thai associated things. So going into the glove that I have, these are the Pro Compact gloves. Put these on real quick. You may or may not be able to tell, but these definitely are smaller than the RSLNT gloves that I had just at first. Even just the profile alone, the fit is pretty snug. With hand wraps on, it does get pretty tight. There is a bit of a break-in period, so just be mindful of that. I think anybody with larger hands may want to avoid these gloves, right? But I'm sure you already know that based on the fact that these are called compact gloves. So these gloves cost about $100 or so, and at that price point, you know, you do have many different options to choose from. But you know, if you're a fan of the brand and you're looking for a pair of gloves that are reliable daily gloves, and you want to stay away from some of the bigger names, you know, like Fairtex and Twins, these are worth a look. So the next brand we're going to cover are the TopBoxers, and they're unique in a sense where they actually manufacture their own gloves. They primarily specialize in custom gear, so you know, custom gloves, custom mitts. I think the turnaround time usually is about 2 to 3 weeks, and they do some pretty cool stuff. Now, if you're not looking for something custom, they do have a pretty wide line of products already. And the gloves that I have are the Win 1 models. This is the Warrior design. So a couple of takeaways about these Win 1 gloves is that the fit is snug on there, but you don't have to worry too much about a break-in period because of the more intricate designs on there. I am concerned about the longevity, you know, whether or not these will, you know, wear over time given extended use. For the most part, you know, from the times that I've used it, I haven't seen any concerns with wear and tear yet, but that comes with the territory, right? Aside from that, I mean, like the quality in itself, it seems pretty good. Ventilation there is good as well, and like I mentioned, these existing designs go for about $110. Now, if you're looking for a custom design, like I mentioned, this really is their bread and butter. And we actually were lucky enough to get a pair of custom gloves from TopBoxer, and I'm gonna show you guys right here. So what I can speak on is the experience of ordering these gloves. They essentially asked us, you know, what the color scheme was, what the designs were, where we wanted the designs, and I mean, couldn't be happier with the way it came out, right? We got our logo right there, we got the Combat Culture right there. The gloves came out exactly as we expected it to, you know, and I think these took about 2 to 3 weeks or so. And you know, from my understanding, I think the price difference for a actual custom set compared to an existing set, whereas this is 110, these go for about 150 or so. Cool thing about that is that they really do create the gloves to your specifications. Chances are, if you can imagine it, they can probably do it, right? And you know, take a look at their Instagram as well. They've got tons and tons of different custom designs on there. So if you don't have anything in mind specifically, go on their Instagram to get some inspiration. To me, I was really happy with the way these custom gloves came out. I also have enjoyed using these guys as well. So you know, if you're in the market for some fun designs like this, or if you want to do something custom like these guys right here, definitely check out TopBoxer. All right, so the next brand we're going to cover are the Saba's fight gear. As we continue to review different gloves, price points also going to go up as well, right? So keep that in mind. So the Saba's brand was founded in 2014. They are based in Texas, and it's actually a veteran-owned business. Just like TopBoxer, they offer custom gloves as well. However, I hadn't ordered any custom gloves, so I can't really speak on the experience there and also how much flexibility you have with their custom gloves, but that is something they do offer. From what I've seen, Saba's primarily markets itself more towards the boxing scene, less with MMA and Muay Thai. So if you are coming from a Muay Thai background, you might not have heard of it. Now the glove I have to review is the Pro Series Hook and Loop. It's actually their original model, and there's several different color options that are two-tone or more. Mine came with 3 different colors. So the fit actually isn't too snug, but it does feel secure. So I think if you're somebody with bigger hands, these are definitely gloves that are worth looking into. The padding and wrist protection are pretty good as well. When it comes to the padding, they definitely do not feel clunky, but also at the same time, you feel protected. I think for the price point of $148, you're definitely gonna get some premium gloves. So if you're looking to support a small veteran-owned business, check these guys out. And the next brand we're going to cover are the Heavy Hitters. Now these guys are based in South Korea. In terms of brand awareness, they've been primarily marketing themselves to the boxing community, but they are looking to expand. Now the gloves that I have are the H6s. These actually have been my sparring gloves ever since I received them about 6 months ago. And when I say sparring, what I mean is that they do take a lot of abuse, not to people, more so to the gloves themselves, you know, with the sweat that goes on the gloves and the oils and also the sweat that goes inside. But you know, as you can tell, after 6 months of pretty consistent sparring, these have held up pretty well. A couple of things to highlight about the gloves is that ventilation, wrist support, and knuckle support are really good. And I have enjoyed using these gloves. They currently sell these gloves for about $150 or so. At that price point, it starts getting really competitive, but I think these definitely are worth that much. They do ship worldwide. As of right now, I'm not too familiar with too many brands out of South Korea, so I'd be curious to see how this brand continues to grow. And just from what I've seen so far, I think they have a really bright future. And the next brand we're going to cover is the Cage brand. These guys. The Cage brand was actually founded by the team at Fight Company. It's their in-house brand. Fight Company is a gear shop that's based in Netherlands. They have several locations all around. We actually had the opportunity to visit one in Amsterdam when we were there. So this is a relatively new brand, and they do have a limited line of products available in different price points. And the specific model I have is a Pro laced up boxing glove. A couple of things to highlight about these gloves is that they are Muay Thai inspired gloves, despite the fact that this was created from a Dutch company, which for the most part is more associated with Dutch kickboxing. These gloves are handmade in Thailand from high quality leather. They also have foam padding from Japan. So, you know, the team definitely put a lot of thought when they designed these gloves and sourced the materials for these gloves. I find these gloves extremely nimble, but at the same time sturdy. You could definitely tell these are high quality gloves, you know, just from the look of it, the way it feels. It goes without saying that ventilation, wrist support, and knuckle support are all really solid. And like I mentioned, these are designed with Muay Thai in mind. See? Open up, do some good clinching on there. Because it's a newer brand that's based in the Netherlands, finding information on these gloves and on this brand may be difficult, but I had a chance to meet with one of the staff members from Cage, and you know, based on our conversation, you know, they're optimistic about their future and also the product line. They have a lot of exciting things that they're working on right now, and just based on these gloves that I've had, I think I feel the same as well, right? So I'm excited to see, you know, how the brand continues to evolve, the type of products they come out with. They do ship to the US, so you know, if you're looking for, again, something different, these are definitely worth a shot. And moving on from a lesser known brand to probably one of the more well-known brands I'm going to cover today is the Superare. Now, Superare was founded in 2011. They actually have brick and mortar shops, one in New York City and one in LA. One of the first things I did when I moved to New York City was I went to the Superare shop. So in their brick and mortar shops, not only do they carry their in-house brands, so like these guys right here, but they also carry other brands such as Fairtex and Winnings. When it comes to the type of products they sell, it ranges from MMA to Jiu-Jitsu to boxing to Muay Thai. And they're also known for the high-profile collaboration with brands such as Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, and Street Fighter. I think I pretty much bought every single Street Fighter t-shirt they've come out with, and they're pretty active when it comes to new product drops as well. And when we're talking about their in-house line of boxing gloves, they typically start around $90 or so and go upwards to about $250 for some gloves that are actually handmade in Italy. The gloves that I have are the S50s. These are handmade with genuine leather. You can definitely tell that the team put a lot of thought into the design of the glove, both outside and in. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these definitely are premium gloves. I think the ones that I have typically go for about $200 or so. I was able to get these on sale for about $180, and that's one cool thing about Superare, is that they do offer sales on occasion. The gloves themselves are definitely what you expect for something that's at the $200 price point. High quality materials, foam protection all around, high quality foam that's not too big and bulky, good wrist protection, good ventilation. And because of the higher price point, these gloves will probably serve as more of an upgrade as opposed to your first pair of gloves. You know, at the end of the day, these are premium gloves, and I think that's exactly where the brand wants to position itself. And the cool thing is that this is an active brand that's constantly growing and constantly innovating. And the next two pair of gloves we're going to cover are Mexican style gloves. So for those of you that are familiar with Mexican line of boxing gloves or the Mexican boxing scene in general, Professional Gill is actually from the Zapol lineage. One cool thing about a lot of boxing glove brands from Mexico is that they are usually owned from the family or an individual. So that's one little cool tidbit that differs Mexican style gloves. And typically the business models tend to lean more on the traditional side when it comes to marketing, as opposed to doing blasts on social media and the internet. And they typically rely more on word of mouth by, you know, bringing the gloves to boxing gyms all around Central America, having boxers try them, coaches try them, and really relying on their product to do the selling for them. When it comes to the build of these gloves, they're definitely different from your traditional Muay Thai gloves. As you can see from the profile, definitely a lot thinner in terms of protection. The weight distribution, or the padding distribution rather, is different as well. The grip bar is definitely a lot more pronounced than some of the other gloves that I've went over today, and while snug, they definitely aren't as snug as Coletto Reyes's. I've used these for quite some time, and while the break-in period isn't as bad as Coletto's, which are notoriously bad, there was a bit of a break-in period with these as well. But once you break these guys in, they actually do feel really good. You can definitely feel the impact, and they are definitely different from, you know, some of the more traditional Muay Thai gloves, more along the lines of the Grants and also the Coletto's, where you actually do feel each and every punch in a good way. A couple of other things to say is that the glove box definitely isn't cramped, so anybody with bigger hands would probably like using these gloves. And when it comes to pricing, these clock in at about $180 or so. I understand that that's pricier than some of the other gloves that we've covered today, but you know, if you're looking for high quality Mexican style gloves, these are definitely worth considering. So moving on to the next brand that is also from Mexico is Necalli. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that there is a Casanova brand that is sold in the US, but my understanding is that that's not the actual Casanova brand, which is Necalli. Do your research and make sure that if you are purchasing Casanovas, that you're buying it from the right source. So although the build does look very similar to the Gill gloves, being that they are traditional Mexican style gloves, there are some differences. The glove box on the Necallis are typically bigger, so if you do have bigger hands, these will probably fit you a little bit better. And the way the glove is designed on the inside really does making a fist feel natural. And that's something many people have said about the Necalli gloves. Overall, if you're looking for a traditional Mexican style glove, Both brands offer high quality products and you really can't go wrong with either one. And the last brand we're going to go over today is Phenom. They are based in the UK. It's primarily a boxing focused brand, which becomes more and more common as you go higher and higher up in price points with boxing gloves. Now, the design of the gloves are primarily geared towards boxers, although there are some limitations when it comes to clinching, but they'd be great gloves if you want to use for box sparring. Now, ever since I received these gloves, I've actually been rotating them in and out with the heavy hitters as my sparring gloves. There's practically no break-in period at all. The ventilation was really good. All the sweat that I accumulated while sparring was never an issue. The pad distribution on these gloves are really good. It's definitely not too bulky. There's a good amount of room in the finger box as well. I definitely think these are really good gloves for folks with bigger hands. All in all, considering these are one of my 2 sparring gloves, these have held up incredibly well, accounting for all of the different oils that are on there and the sweat and the blood. I really can't recommend these enough. Now, these are going to be the most expensive gloves that I've covered today, clocking in at about $200 or so. They definitely look as new as the first day I've got them, and believe me, they've definitely been through the ringer. So if you are in the market for something that is a little bit more elevated, a brand that you're likely not going to see at every single gym, definitely gives these guys a shot. Bonus round! You thought we were done, but we're not! These are the modern vintage Pro Heritage brown leather boxing gloves. You might have seen this brand before in Instagram ads, and well, you know what? They got me because I bought a pair. Now, these gloves are made from genuine leather. That's kind of their calling card. One thing about these gloves is that there's a textured print. I'm not too sure if I agree with the design choice, but it does make it stand out instead of just having a matte finish. As you can tell, these gloves are definitely bulkier than a lot of the other ones, not only in the front knuckle area, but also right there on the back of the hand as well. And these definitely feel different when you're training with them because the weight distribution is different. And due to the padding being focused on the back of the hand and also the knuckle area, there's not a whole lot of wrist support on these. I'm also concerned about ventilation, so definitely be mindful about drying these out after every use. I will say these are a ton of fun. They're definitely not going to be my daily gloves, but because of the unique look and the fact that they are so different and it is a retro glove, I will pack these into the gym bag on occasion just to mess around with them. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found the information helpful. The intention really was to spread awareness on some of the lesser known brands that's available in the market, a lot of which I think are really worth looking into. If you guys enjoyed the content that we're coming out with, please do us a solid and hit the like button below. And if there's something you want us to cover, please drop a comment down there as well. We'll be back with more videos coming up, but until then, keep training, stay healthy, and be safe. That was horrible. That was horrible. Why am I doing this? Oh, gloves. Bleh. The gloves are good for the price. At the price point, it's good.